Keep moving on. Keep moving on. And they say I have a grim sense of humor.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the VTS. Tonight, oh Lord, I mean, we say every time it's going to be a banger, but it's going to be a banger once again because we have MGM going up against Ohio State University. It's going to be quite the pivotal match for them. Proof, or so tell me why is this going to be critical for them?
Well, it's mostly critical for OSU because they are not completely guaranteed playoffs. And if they lose tonight, it's relying on Clover to beat out the next contender next week. So they won't even know if they make it until next week if they do lose tonight. So it's very important to see how they perform today and if they can guarantee themselves this spot. It would also affect the race for number 2 if MGM do lose tonight. So it's more so for standings for MGM, but it is playoff hopes coming through for OSU. That's why it's super important for both teams
Yeah.
to perform.
Absolutely. Nerves are going to be at an all-time high for the side of OSU. MGM, meanwhile, they can just sit pretty. Obviously no team wants to lose, but definitely it's not as big of a consequence if they do end up losing compared to OSU. But Proof, any thoughts on this tonight, man?
Yo, it's great to be in the spot of MGM at this point. You're looking at
Yeah.
angle maybe. You guys look, we'll throw the game if you just PayPal us a little bit. That's a good angle to be here for MGM. But to be fair though, their team is looking very scary, so I wouldn't be shocked if this wasn't a wipeout. But OSU is one of those teams that went ahead against Clover, I think last week or maybe 2 weeks ago in the beginning of the split. So they almost took a game away from Clover. So I wouldn't be surprised if they showed up today and made this go to distance. It would be something exciting to watch, as I'm always looking forward to see 3-game series.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, MGM is quite a big. They're big. They're a heavy hitter this time around.
Looking really good.
Indeed, they finally took their first loss. It's been a while since that's happened to them. They were looking to go undefeated. They did end up going 5-1, though. Meanwhile, Ohio State University is, I believe, at the moment 4-3. I might, yeah, 4-3. So they're going up against the big dogs tonight. I'm curious if they can handle it. And just speaking of that, just these certain matchups that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to go into the mid lane, Salt. I wanted to get your thoughts on Steel
Mhm.
City Warrior going up against the likes of the one and only the Hunt for Value. Have you gotten a chance to kind of see these two mid laners in action?
Now, last split, I got to see Steel City Warrior quite a bit and had great performances back on Mad City, performed really well there. But this split, for the most part, I've mostly seen Value, and Value's looked really, really solid. And not too much, no complaints really. I haven't gotten to actually see Steel City Warrior this split, see how they've evolved, how they've adapted to this current meta. So we'll see how they perform tonight. But for now, I mean, it's already history bias coming through. Even though most people would go for recency, most consistent bias, I'm just going to go back with the history. Mad City always looked good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I could say that from me and Bruce's perspective, we've gotten to see a Steel City Warrior quite a bit, as we've
Mhm.
seen MGM quite a few times on here, and we've seen that he's very much kind of the
Mhm.
spearhead, the leader when it comes into picking out these fights and kind of being like, all right, we're sending it, boys. Let's get into that. He's always the first one into the charge. He's not scared to get his hands dirty. He's not scared to get a little bloody. And so, Proof, who you think's coming out on top tonight?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say here in the solo lanes, but
Mm,
for sure, if Steel Warriors does perform like we're used to watching him perform, then it's gonna be no question, right? He's gonna knock it out of the
Mhm.
park. But
mhm.
when we talk about mid lane, I wanted to talk about like T1 in general because I was just watching LCK the other day, and
Mm.
T1 became the first team to reach a 15 win
Mhm.
streak, and I feel like they are probably the equivalent, yes, of MGM here, or MGM is equivalent of that in this type of league, but yet they have dropped one game. I wonder who that was against. Maybe we'll get a check on that later. But
It was against
um,
Clover, I believe. I
Clover.
can go
Okay, so
grab that
yeah,
for you.
Clover. Is very very good. So it's something to watch out for. Is OSU almost took a game from Clover, and Clover took a game from MGM. So maybe transitive
Yeah.
property
It
states that
was 2-0
uh,
Clover.
2-0 Clover. Oh, never mind. But it was close.
Okay.
Or
Yeah, OSU went 2-1 against Clover. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But speaking of T1 and Faker and the mid lane,
oh yes.
he brought out the Kaisa pick. So maybe
Mhm.
I want to see something like that from Steel Warrior City. We've seen the Aries in the world come in here. Sometimes it's been kind of okay out of the gate. Like why are people starting to pick Ari? I guess it's from T1 Faker playing a lot of Ari here, finding a lot of agency in the team fights, and the setup is there. So it's just a good champion. But I want to see Kai'Sa mid, right? It's been Pyke mid for a while for me. Now I'm changing my perspective on that.
Yeah, he's lost faith that the Pike mid's ever coming out. He's
No, I
got
don't think so.
No Dave Mons here. No Dave
Uh,
Mons right
he's
now.
gonna have to switch it up, but that's fair. But that being said, though, you were saying it's definitely gonna be a lot harder to kind of predict these one-on-one lanes. But let's predict overall. What do we think? And Salt, I'll start with you. What are your predictions for tonight?
I mean, MGM may have dropped the series, but it is to the #1 team in their group right now. Clover looking really solid every series I've seen them. They performed. So, I mean, OSU, they've looked like they're fallible. They've fallen a couple times. They still look like a really solid team. Definitely playoff contenders for sure, in my opinion. But I'm just gonna have to give it to MGM. At the very least, they looked really consistent throughout the rest of the split. One falter is not enough to sway me, but there's been a few coming in from OSU.
Okay. Proof. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I don't want to be on the hype train just to be on the hype train, but I have to give credit where credit is due, right? MGM, they just dropped the ball in one game, and that was against a respectable opponent. So Clover might have taken a win off of MGM, and they were on a roll. I think they're going to be back on that horse in this game as well. So I'm going to predict MGM 2-0.
Okay. I feel that. Normally I'm that guy that kind of goes the complete opposite, just so if things do work out, I can be like, I told you so. But I'm also gonna have to go with MGM tonight. I do think it's gonna be 2-1. I have a feeling that OSU is definitely gonna put up a great fight, and I feel like they might just get one of those rounds out. Maybe the first round when it's like, both teams are still trying to kind of feel each other out, and then afterwards both teams will kind of know what to adapt. But I think they'll at least get that one game, and so I'm gonna go 2-1.
Right.
Yeah, for MGM. That being said, though, are we going to see a Renata game?
I feel bad.
Renata Gaming.
I feel
Renata
bad for.
Why do you
But
feel
yeah,
bad?
for Renata Gaming, what's going on in that aspect? Is it enabled? Is it champ enabled?
It
Okay,
is
cool.
enabled, yeah.
All right.
So I'm hoping
Fine.
it's enabled.
That's when I'll turn off my monitor. You guys feel free to cast for me when that happens.
Oh, Renata. Okay, think of it this way. Renata is very situational. She can't just be picked just because. So there needs to be certain situations that are fulfilled. They have to run into you. You cannot be the ones engaging. It's a very counter-engage ultimate. You can't really use it very offensively unless you are able to find flanks. But when you're flanking with Renata, you're super squishy. So that's definitely not the ideal play to go for. So it's all about looking for the enemy team to run face first into you and also hope that they have a hyper carry. Because if it's a bunch of mages, those autos do absolutely nothing. So it's got to be a Jinx, got to be a Zeri, anything along those lines, just shooting their own teammates. That's what you're looking for.
Attack speed, 100% buff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, for me personally, I can just say from experience that from the LJL, actually, this is like the only major region out there that just does not pick Renata. They've had it once. Just a single time. And it's been enabled for so long. Just one single time it's been picked. And then when it was picked, it didn't work. It didn't end up very well. It did not end very well. And it's really surprising because we see her coming out a lot more in these other regions. So we'll have to see. But hey, the dream is still alive for the Kai'Sa mid. Hopefully, Steel City Warrior is listening somewhere out there and he's hearing proofs. Please give this man that mid pick that he wants. Please give him the Kai'Sa.
Yes,
yeah, indeed. I do want to talk about also their bot lane, right? So we've seen ImRob and Baby Philly Freeman, right? They've been looking pretty good, but so is the bot lane as well from OSU, right? OSU Blue is doing pretty damn work. Spread, what do you think, man?
I think they're looking pretty solid. Out of everything we've seen from them so far, on stage, they've looked well. They've definitely been doing their jobs. Not really the reason for their losses from what I've seen, but I mean, MGM, I think overall the roster looks really solid overall, and I mean, I think it's just having pieces everywhere that's really important here, and the fact that they've been scrimming quite a bit. I know that for a fact. They've been doing their homework. So
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, bot lane, it's crazy.
Absolutely. And also moving into the jungle, right? We've got Best Turtle NA, who sometimes I'm never gonna forget the Best Trundle NA call from Proof when he was on the Trundle, dude. But this is a man who likes to get this. He likes to get the job done, right? He's always picking these. That he's really a hard hitter. He can get into there and get things going. He can make opportunities possible. Do you think that's going to be a bit too much for OSU to handle?
I mean, I definitely think it can be. Yeah, go for it.
I think like that's the target, right? The playmaker now in this league, I think for at least MGM has been best Trundle NA, quote unquote. If he gets his champion, if anybody's picking their own champion, like I feel like for Steel City Warrior, it was the Akali, right? Like call me crazy.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like Akali is maybe not in a good place right now, but give it to the right people, give it to the right players, and they're able to make a lot of plays happen on the map. A lot of calls that I think should have not been for, I mean, for Steel City Warriors, like these risky calls where I think should have been paid off. He makes it happen, and you're like, okay, wow, okay, this is why he plays the assassin. This is why he's very good in those type of assignments. So for best turtle NA, you know, that's the same true. Like if you make a playmaker champion like the Trundle, like the Hecarim, like the Volley Bear, then he's gonna rotate around the map much faster and make plays happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it goes great in hand in hand with Steel City Warrior, and they are in fact in the draft. The Overlord has spoken, and so I'm gonna go ahead and hand it off to my two lovely casters, gentlemen. Take it away.
Thank you, Echo.
There
That
we
lovely desk segment. You know, I always look for those, forward to those every Friday. It's one of my favorite part of being in Victoria's Triumph Stream. We just get to talk before the games. We dive right into it. The bans are going to come out shortly here, but for Mid Gaming Mirage, they're going to be on the red side, so they might want to ban things away for that B1 pick, as Ohio State have that priority.
And having that blue side, I think, is really imperative here. There's just so many priority picks. I think I mentioned this before with you, maybe not specifically on VTS, but I value blue side really, really highly. It gives you access to those priority junglers, the priority ADs, and this current meta, in the early game, very jungle centric. But getting yourself a secure hyper carry is super important as well, because that's your insurance past that 25-minute mark. These players farm really well. These players don't really, they make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, but it's a lot harder to capitalize on these mistakes. They're also able to recover from these mistakes a lot better. So having a hyper carry in that bot lane is B1, very important, as long as you do make sure that some of the counters are banned, but it is going to be that Jarvan ban first.
Yep, Jarvan ban coming out first. That's the... of course, we're talking about best turtle NA right before we we jump right into the segment here. We're talking about, okay, take away the comfort picks, take away the champions that he's good at, and Jarvan is going to be one of those champions. So it's going to force best turtle NA to dig deep now. I don't know if the second ban is going to be targeted towards the jungle, but I think it's the right move from Ohio State University, targeting the playmaker.
I mean, getting rid of playmaking junglers is very important, but it also does lean towards OSU looking for a very immobile bot lane, or sorry, immobile back line. Jarvan is very solid into those because you can't Gale Force out of it. You have to burn that flash, and if you don't have flash, Jarvan can just regank you over and over and over again. But we just see a lot of playmaking junglers banned away. Diana taken off the table, Diana Yasuo. Hecarim also taken off the table, a great B1 pick, but the Draven taken away from OSU Blue.
No more Draven. I mean, I don't know why this was banned. Maybe because OSU
Buffs.
Blue is just really, really good at it, especially early game. You know, it's one of those champions that you have to respect. And that's the Akali ban. We talked about it, right? Steel City Warrior is really, really good on Akali. So having that off the table, gonna let Steel City Warrior pick maybe a less mobile mid laner here. It could still be an assassin. We don't know.
Definitely. There's definitely options. The Ahri is still on the table, so is the LeBlanc. There's a lot of AP assassins still available to be picked up. Potentially the Katarina, I don't think she's competitively viable. She doesn't really have that safe wave clear and will auto-push the wave, but it is going to be that first pick, Swain, coming in from OSU.
Hey, Swain is going to be happy to be even seeing the daylight at this point. We haven't seen a Swain in such a long time. I like seeing a Swain because not only you go tanky, you also do a lot of damage. You can get that stopwatch in team fights. The answer is straight up Lucian for that R1 pick.
I guess it does deny the Zeri pick. It's really strong into it in lane. Also has really high burst potential. So, but it could also be flexed into the soul lane, mind you. So, definitely not the worst pickup.
But why you want to deny the Zeri pick if you just pick Zeri yourself, you know?
Wow, a Nidalee too? This is just mechanical flexing coming in from MGM from what they've picked up so far. They need to dominate this early game though with these two picks.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For Lucian, that's a power spike, right? He's not like the late game hyper carry ADC. He just wants to get resources in the early beginning half of the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to manifest that. And this is the Kaisa. Please tell me it's going mid. OSU. I'll literally change my prediction right now. Like, I'll say it right now. OSU will win if this Kaisa goes to the mid lane. That's going to be an ace on your sleeve at that point. Pull off something improbable.
I mean, Faker played the Kaisa well, but
it wasn't the reason why they won. I know that.
But it is going to be another playmaker being picked up in the jungler, or picked up in the jungle. It is going to be that Rek'Sai grabbed up here as that final pickup here in phase 1. And it is going to be Lucian Nami, one of the strongest bot lanes you can pick for early dominance. You can instantly proc that electrocute, chunk anyone for 3/4 of their HP. It's really insane. And Kai'Sa being a low range ADC, 525 versus the Lucian's 500. Sure, it's a little bit longer. You could technically space out a little bit, but 25 range is barely anything. And when the Lucian can just dash forward with that E, get the slow from the Nami as well, it's just so insane. But the Ahri taken off the table as well.
Yeah, the Swain looks like to be a support, I feel like, right? So mid gaming Mirage, we're like, okay, this is going to be a Swain and Kai'Sa bot lane. Most likely that's what they thought. So the Nami does make kind of sense here because you would have better laning phase. But I think it's a bit squishy for what they want to achieve. If this game goes on long enough, it's not even going to matter if you want lane or not. But for intensive purposes, I think also Braum would have been a good pick with the Lucian. That's kind of like the wombo combo that everybody likes watching. I personally like that. I think having the Nami also good disengage tool, but against a carry like Kai'Sa, I think maybe that shield the Braum provided would have been a better option. But here we go, second phase. The picks. It's going to be the Gangplank without hesitation. He gets a lot.
Without any hesitation. And that's definitely going to the top lane. But this Lucian flex is still maintained because it can be put into the mid lane. If it is a great matchup, they might as well just pick another 80 carry, make it work there. But, I mean, some of these bans, I don't really like. I think the Aatrox ban from OSU is just a respect ban, but that champion is unbelievably useless. So... It's literally countered by one item.
Oh, man.
Or there's like multiple items that counter him, and he's just unable to play the game. But it is going to be that Scion here locked in. And, I mean, if it's another Scion like we saw last week, oh no, man.
You just heard a lot of players by saying Aatrox is useless. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, no.
I'm an Aatrox player. It hurts me to say he's useless, but that champion just does nothing.
Oh,
it is so useless.
Oh, you even added he does nothing on top of being useless. Alrighty there, Salt. It's a hot take there on the analyst desk. We got... Oh, okay. It's going to be Lissandra pick. They're thinking that maybe Rob could still go mid here, right, with the Gangplank. We have seen that happen.
I wouldn't really like that counter pick, though. If it is Lissandra there, Gangplank could be, I have oranges. Say bye-bye to your stuns.
Yeah.
Out of there. But we'll see what this final pickup here is from MGM. I don't want to see the Lucian in the mid lane here into the Lissandra. Even though he has that dash and stuff, his range is really low, so his farming isn't super safe. So we'll see what the final answer is. And, I mean, again, that's actually a really solid answer. Veigar here is going to be pretty good. I mean, the Lissandra can't really punish it all that well. The Rek'Sai can, yes, but the cage is very important. I mean, you're going to be able to see where the Rek'Sai is coming from when she does place those tunnels. So just place your cage around that little area. She's going to be stunned as soon as she crawls out of that tunnel.
But, okay, let's just take it a step back here because I feel like we've been hyping up Mint Gaming Mirage so much. But I have to give credit for Ohio State University. I think their comp is just better rounded in terms of like that late game. It does so many things better, in my opinion, that if you follow textbook League of Legends, that Mint Gaming Mirage, they have a very squishy kind of like cannon, glass cannon type X comp because their team fights 5v5s are going to look incredibly dicey. Event Horizon has to land. Bester Lene has to watch out. I mean, is he going to engage? Is he going to disengage? The spears have to land. So you're looking at a lot of poke that needs to come down from Mint Mirage Gaming or Mint Gaming Mirage to make those 5v5s sway in their favor. Because if they just go all out at once, I don't think they have the HP bars to sustain the amount of damage Ohio State University are able to sustain, and on top of that, give it to Mint Gaming Mirage.
But if you take a look at it, both these teams are relatively short-ranged apart from the Kai'Sa W and the Gangplank barrel setup. If he's able to get a good barrel setup, he can instantly pop someone from maybe 1,100 units away if you play your cards right. But one thing I do value in this current meta is damage, and I mean, four out of 4 places have damage. The jungler, damage. Top, damage. Mid, damage. ADC, damage. And OSU, Lissandra doesn't really do all that much damage. And same with the Scion. So it's really on this bot lane and on this jungler to make things happen. And once again, Rek'Sai does fall off a cliff later on in the game.
Clip that. Somebody clip that. I'm just joking. It's okay. You know, I get that argument. So I get that argument. So you're saying that, you know, the range matters here. Ohio State University, yes, they might have the better comp here, but Mint Gaming Mirage are not off that bad. You know, they have good
Mhm.
carries on their side. Best Turtle NA is able to dash out a lot of damage. I'm Rob on Delusion here. You know, obviously going to go bot lane. And this Veigar pick is incredible in kiting and disengaging or even catching. So they could do
Mhm.
either or. And I think that's the strong point for them. But for Ohio State University, they're able to also, through the Rek'Sai, I think, just find the targets they want. Like, I'm
Mhm.
Rob is not always going to be safe. The Veigar is not always going to be safe, especially in the early game. Well, if he gets ganked, if this Veigar gets ganked by Rek'Sai, I guarantee you, Rek'Sai will start ganking more and more, taxing the Flash here in the mid lane, just trying to tilt the
Mhm.
Veigar. That's the game. For Ohio State University, if they just tilt one player, I think it should be still City Warrior on this Veigar, as he is incredibly immobile. And especially for Hunt
Mhm.
for Value, he has that gap closer. So guess what? Hey, it's going to be fun to see that mid lane and jungle 2v2.
Definitely. It's a little scary, all things considered. Again, you can get one shot by literally anything in this game. Uh, there's just so much damage
Yeah.
available overall in the current meta. But, I mean, the thing is, a lot of the damage coming in from OSU, very, very single target, apart from maybe the Swain. The Kai'Sa's damage gonna come from that W, so that only hits one target at a time. But there is a lot of AoE from MGM on that Veigar, on that Gangplank. And really, I'm just looking for this Nidalee and for this Lucian to just try and push the early game, bring their late game carries forward as the game goes on and on, transfer those leads over throughout the map. That's what you expect to see. But, I mean, main thing I expect here, the Rek'Sai is going to be behind in farm against this Nidalee because she's really good at farming as long as you know how to play the champion. But the Rek'Sai does have a lot better ganks, and there's not really all that much great setup coming in from MGM. Realistically, they don't really have a way to hard engage. So
Yeah.
it
That's
is, like you said,
realistic.
it's a
That's
kite
just
back
being
comp.
nice. It's a kite back comp, and also maybe poke you a little bit, and then maybe
Little
we'll
bit.
pull the trigger. Yeah, maybe poke you through best turtle NA. I mean, yeah, those spears are gonna end up hurting. You might need a bandage for that. Ohio State University need to see their first aid kits. But with that said, though, let's just analyze things from top to bot, right? Because the Mookup is piloting Scion. And Heka Maskov is playing the Gangplank. We're seeing more Gangplank than we're seeing the Scion. So how this matchup is going to go?
I mean, Gangplank does do damage, but I mean, that's a Scion. That's a Giga Tank. So it's going to be rough for this early. But once that Gangplank hits that level 13, once those barrels go down really, really quick, and he gets that inbuilt armor pen along with a little bit more, he can realistically have about like 75% armor pen on in his kit if he buys a Lord Doms. If he goes like Triforce, like a couple of things like that, right? But I think he does need a little bit of tankiness here, a little bit more HP because of what he's dealing with. The Rek'Sai, very scary, does a lot of damage, but it's very, very front loaded. Once the damage is done, nothing really happens, and it's also hard to gank the Gangplank. So just build a little safer for the early game, and it's fine. The Scion scales well, will be a great frontliner, but they do have ways to shred it. But
They do.
overall,
They
it should be an even lane with some skill expression.
But that's the only thing they have, Salt. They only have ways to shred tanks, right? They don't have tanks themselves that can absorb the damage. So for mid-gaming Mirage, it's very risky. It's very
It is
one-sided. For
very high
Ohio State
risk.
University, I think all they need to do is just scale well, build some of those items we're talking about, get more tanky, pose yourself in these 5v5 situations, and don't let them poke you. Like, no matter what you do, just don't run into them or don't let them poke you. What are they gonna do? They can't just engage. So I feel like for the better part of this game, Ohio State University should be able to dictate how the fights go and how they turn out. So I'm super excited to see what ends up happening, as this is one of the few, or is this the last week before we head into the playoffs? I think it's one of the last few
One
weeks.
more, one more,
One more.
week. Yeah,
Yeah, so
penultimate week.
second, let's set. Yeah, exactly. So really exciting things to see here. So we're going to toss it over to break. We'll be right back shortly. And we are back. We're at the outside of the match between MGM versus OSU. And if you guys don't recognize us just yet, well, my name is Proof at Proofcast. I'm joined here in the casting desk with Salt. Salt, there might be some things that we want to talk about before we jump right into it.
Like
What
this
would those
portrait
things be?
alignment. It's very unfun. Ooh, a little bit of an invade.
Speaking of alignment, I don't know if Best Turtle NA has screen aligned quite well there, as he did spot out. He's going to get traded a little bit on the HP bar, so he has to be very careful as to not give more away. He needs that for doing jungle camps.
You also take those if you're Veigar. Hey, that's a stack. Take those every day of the week.
Yeah, you want those stacks as early as possible. We're going to run a cheese here.
A little bit, but we just get some bases here. But like we were saying, the Lissandra, the electrocute makes sense. I like it, but I don't like the ignite. I just think you should be running the TP. You're looking to help out your team. You're not really a damage threat on Lissandra unless you're getting really, really far ahead. I mean, we'll see though. Rek'Sai for the most part, going to go with that lethality. Also has the blue smite, which is really surprising. I guess he just wants to, or the Rek'Sai just wants to get on top of the target, deal as much damage as possible in the shortest amount of time, and blue smite definitely helps out with that. Predator on Veigar, very roam heavy style. He's just looking to shove the wave and move around that way. And ooh.
Yeah, this is a 2v2. We're talking about the dominance that Lucian and Nami lane have, or has, right? So for MGM, they're going that route. They're indexing towards that. The skins you could see. Chroma's there for Lucian, but he gets pulled back though, so you got to respect those. He burns a little tad bit too much there.
Yeah, and that's the power of the Swain. Unlike most other pull champions, you want to be hovering inside your wave in order to dodge that pullback. That's usually how the Swain works. That's usually how you play against it, but that feels really bad because you're not really getting the power out of this Lucian Nami lane that you were expecting so far, because Swain on his own is just such a strong laner, and he's already landed 2 roots and forcing all of your potions.
Yeah, all potions gone, but thankfully the summoners are still up. Summoner spells, like we talked about here. Rob's not running the heal here, instead running the exhaust, so wants a lockdown target rather than heal, because guess what? Nami already does pretty much all the healing he needs.
And I think the exhaust is just a much better summoner. Heal is hard countered by ignite, and every single support in the game always runs ignite. And exhaust also reduces the one-shot capabilities of most champions. 40% damage reduction, really, really insane. Uh-oh.
Hecka mask off. The top lane having a field day, but speaking of that, bot lane action here in front of your screens. It's going to turn violent very quickly to knock up. Here we go to first blood. OSU Blue secures that one. Best Turtle NA in range here on the Nility, trying to maybe pull off a play here, but it's going to get pulled back. Rooted, what a huge blunder there. A colossal failure, a colossal mistake by Best Turtle NA this early in the game. Nets 2-0 for OSU.
That is huge. That's a 1k gold lead coming through at just under 4 minutes. Really, really well played coming in. Good ganks. Burning the flash instantly on the Rek'Sai to try and get the Nami. They do burn that flash. Rob is just forced to suffer down. CS down kills. This is rough. And double buffs have been gifted over. This is just a disaster in the bot lane. And Kai'Sa also, in my opinion, scales a lot better than the Lucian. So things are not looking really good here for MGM as this game does go on. So that's looking rough. They needed to win this early game.
Yeah, instead they give it over on a silver platter with some fries and ketchup here. OSU Blue, a lot of damage as well as a lot of gold. So he's looking at a 150 gold bounty on his head with 2-0 start on this Kai'Sa, and they are going the AD path.
That is a Caulfield's Warhammer, which is most likely building into Muramana.
Muramana. We were talking about that earlier. What would be the better alternative here? The AD or the AD?
Oh my.
Speaking of that, Swen just zones out in Italy there. I don't know what Best Turtle NA is doing here this game, to be honest with you, Salt.
Maybe the Trundle is the pick here. Not gonna be honest. Just kidding. But unfortunately, gets caught while trying to look for some vision, look for an invade there, and is forced to try and execute. But the rotations coming through from the support, and Value does burn the flash to get the kill. But I mean, it's something. You have that advantage.
Value.
And considering they are down in CS, you take those.
Yeah, hunt for value, living up to the name, right? That's definitely valuable. You just burn the flash. Guess what? You get the kill. I want that trade. So he comes out on that on top of that. But he is behind on CS against his lane counterpart. Steel City Warrior, 44 CS and Hunt for Value only 33. So, you know, that kill is probably equalized right now. Steel City Warrior, this should be even in lane.
Especially with Veigar stacks, it is basically even. One thing to note, though, in relative power, even though the Kai'Sa has a lead, stat-wise, other than a little bit of ability haste, they're directly even in attack damage. So trades are realistically going to be pretty similar unless they go really long and you can get multiple Qs off as that Kai'Sa. So even though they have a huge advantage there, it's not really being recognized just yet.
What's being recognized is his bot lane dominance coming out. Stuns are going to go wide, but the bubble is good so far. But here comes Halal Horse, goes in the back line. This time around, he pulls off a best turtle NA move there and dies. So that's not bad after all. Cannon Barrage comes in, hot and heavy. OSU Blue will be backing away right now. And they don't lose much after just losing the jungler there. So I don't know if they're happy about that one, but they were trying to dive here into the Lucian, into the Nami, with Hecate Maskov having the Cannon Barrage on.
Yep, they are able to grab that cooldown. It is a pretty long cooldown this early in the game, but, I mean, they were able to secure themselves a kill, and that's pretty solid. It did end up on the Nami, unfortunately, not where it needs to go, but it's better than nothing. You get some assist gold as a GP and the Lucian, so you're not in the worst of streaks right now, but this Lysandre's suffering a lot CS-wise because of these roams.
Oh, Flash! Fluxatine goes in for the kill, smells it! And Blue will find the killing blow here, but now he's looking at a 1v3 angle. I don't think he gets away from this one at all. He's going to go back in a body bag. And a shutdown goes for Best Turtle NA. He desperately needed that one.
Desperately needed that. Getting back in the game. I mean, even in CS, though, so that kill actually puts him ahead, not even behind anymore. So that's really solid. But the Kai'Sa... Oh, okay, so this is still the AP build. She has to go that Serrated Dirk in order to get the early upgrade on the Q. That's fine. I really, really despise the Dirk, even though it does give you that upgrade early. I just think it just feels really, really bad to have a component that you're never going to finish.
Ooh, Scion ulti comes up, but it's countered by Hecate Maskov, burning the flash there as to step out of the direction.
And, I mean, both of them burn their flashes, but ultimate cooldown is going to be burned for this Scion, so not ideal for him. But the jungler, Halal Horse, was there in the wings waiting just in case the GP does overcommit trying to get that kill onto the Scion. But, ooh, look at this Nami roam.
Oh, Nami roam here. There it is. Veigar finding the first kill in the game. This is going to spell disaster for the Lysandra. Not only that they are down in CS, now the Veigar has a kill and the stacks
and a plate
are stacking. And a plate on top of that. Yep, Steel City Warrior is probably really happy about that play. For sure, though, Best Turtle NA, maybe they should utilize more members next time around to get this Veigar snowball.
Oh no, are they doing this? This is crazy.
They're going for more. They're not going to stop now. Best Turtle NA, but they do get spotted, so, you know, they're going to have to go back without making any grave errors, because we don't want to see that happening out of MGM. They need to really respect. Yeah, dive happening. This is flashless Gangplank. Has wave coming in late. But the Rek'Sai ulti will guarantee them the kill. And certainly OSU are back on the horse here. They're in. Oh, I thought that was gonna be a steal, but it did not happen. Hashtag Drake is gonna be our soul for today. 10 minutes almost on the clock. And back and forth gameplay here. OSU Blow goes in. I'm Rob with the ulti here. Not gonna net him anything, and Baby Bullet Freeman gonna run away from Swain. Swain gets knocked up at a tidal wave, but it's not gonna be enough. That's the W for the kill. Nicely done, Kai'Sa. Right under the turret, celebrating that kill.
Great plays coming through from Blue, having a really, really great time on this Kai'Sa. 5, 1, and 0, 300 gold shutdown again. Just permanently has these shutdowns. Farming decently well. Not that 10 CS per minute yet, but we'll be getting there eventually. But that Mana Muna has been completed. Sitting on Serrated Dirk should have that Q upgrade, if I am not mistaken. At this point, maybe one more level will be enough to do it. But Rob, not really having a great time. Still not finished that Mythic just yet. But the Muramana is not the greatest item to be sitting on. It's cheap, yes, but it doesn't really do all that much until you have the Muramana passive. that's when you start actually dealing damage with the item. But it does give a decent chunk of AD at the very least. It's a nice stat stick.
Well, speaking of about stats, this is the Rift Herald, the first one, which is really, really useful. Unless they forget to spawn it, which does tend to happen, but not in a
Yeah, a little
5v5
bit.
competitive setting. You know, if it does happen, it's going to be
Oh,
heartbreaking.
no.
But a great ball on the right target. Rob is taken very low. He clocks out. Fluxitine in the front line now with the ulti Swain. Really wants to find a second target, which is the Nami, but he lets her live because he can't catch her.
This is just bot lane dominance coming in from OSU. They're just overstepping, getting caught by every single hand of Noxus, so not looking too great. Or never, I think it's the Nevermore, something along those lines, yeah. But still not
Hey,
really
here's the
looking
lower
too
guy,
great.
Salt.
Never move. Okay. Still not looking so great from the side of Rob and Baby Billy Freeman. Not too hot. Not too hot indeed. Things aren't going super well for them. And this Nami realistically is diveable, but they are going to miss that route. Not going to find it.
Yeah, she had to be really careful there, but as far as the 2v2 is concerned, you know, we could safely say that OSU have this one in the bag. And Rob, their R1 pick, which was the Lucian here, and then coupled that with Baby Billy Freeman piloting Nami, their plans seem to be falling apart at this point in time.
This lane is over. They realistically don't have that much of a chance. Uh-oh. Someone taking a decent chunk of damage in the mid lane.
So what's the plan now for MGM? Like, now that this bot lane
Veigar's
is
fed.
transpiring like this, get the Veigar fed, you know?
He is already
that
fed.
could be a
He has a
plan.
lot of stacks, good CS, and 2 assists, which adds a decent chunk of stacks to his name. So he's not in the worst of spots. Also has a Dark Seal, so if he does get that stack, even if like it's just through assists and stuff like that. Oh, Rob!
Whew. Does have the culling and the exhaust and the flash. So if he wants to get a
songs.
kill here, he probably can. He's starting to do some damage. The Noon Quiver completed there, and does have the pickaxe as well. So quite some
Something's
more
happening in
damage.
the top lane.
I can mask off at this point in time. I think he's just chilling. He got the oranges to fall back on. So we're not going to see solo kill anytime soon for sure. Not unless Bester Lene has a say in it, right?
It is going to be the S-Trooper coming in for the Gangplank, not going towards that Triforce build. So, I mean, oh, no.
Yep.
Maybe?
Oh, no is right. Oh, that's one kill from Rob. Culling is used. Look at the amount of kiting they have. And there's the beauty of playing with a Nami. She could heal you up. And a flash for the kill. Fluxitine wants this double. Flashes in for the kill. Baby Billy. That's the double for Fluxitine, but eventually falls down. What an incredible and phenomenal play there by Fluxitine. Clutch with them flashes.
Oh,
Hunt for value now on the 1v1. Speaking of 1v1, and solo Polo there for Steel City Warrior.
reading
We know
the
him to
ultimate
be
as well.
definitely a
Uh-oh.
warrior. Here comes the poke. Here comes Bester Lene on the Italy. Hide your kids. Run away. Mook up. Are you okay, buddy? Bester Lene wants to get the kill. He definitely flash burned on side of Sion. So 10-7 is the scoreline. Now OSU, they did get outplayed in the top lane with the flash down in the mid lane, but they did find the play in the bot lane at least.
Yep, they do get the play, and the Lucian Nami still does a crap ton of damage. That's still going to be a thing, but this Swain has that Everfrost, has that lockdown, and so much HP built in. So he is really having a great time in this bot lane. The support, he can run on low econ. He's fine, building towards that Jonya's Hourglass. So he's in a really, really solid spot. But the Veigar, once again, gets a solo bolo. 2, 0, and 1. Uh-oh, big fight.
Big fight, nice
Ooh.
pull back. Rob is able to get that kill before he goes down, which is huge for MGM. They really want to stay in the race. So we could argue that OSU hit the ground running, but MGM are able to keep up the pace.
They are keeping up, and they're not even down 1k gold anymore. And with the Veigar stacks coming through, and the passive Gangplank GP, oh,
Fluxitine again. He got to respect this Swain. He does have his ulti here available. He pops it up. Nobody could get close to him except Bester Lene wants to get the kill. Nami picks it up out of all the targets. He'll Billy Baby Freeman. Set it the opposite way around. We'll pick up a kill. Lissandra with the trade though. Hunt for value now under a lot of attack. He's headed for the rock here, but Bester Lene is in trouble with the help of Veigar. Maybe they'll able to close out the kill here, and they will. Still City Warrior flashes in, thirsty for the kill. The Q will do the rest. The ult was used as well. And now this could be a good priority for the Drake, at least for MGM.
Yeah, this Lysandra pick just really not doing. It has the CC, but it just doesn't do damage. And when Kai'Sa's the only one really doing damage right now on your team, and also the Swain, it's literally just your bot lane. Your bot lane is the only thing on your team doing damage. And when they fall, there's just not really much for you guys to be able to do at this point. It is going to be the Infernal Soul, though, and 2 dragons up for MGM. That's really nice for them if they can get this Infernal Soul with their poke and with their hard scaling coming through from the GP, from the Veigar. It's just going to be game over. It's going to be lights out. Doesn't matter how fed this Kai'Sa is. She's only one AD. Sure, the Swain can be strong, but an Infernal Soul, that negates a lot of his power because he can just get instantly burst down.
Yes, this Veigar is big, but is he big enough to withstand a lot of that damage coming out from the other side? OSU, they have a lot of engage tools, just like the Scion, like the Rek'Sai, so maybe they're able to single out this target, which is on the other side, Steel City Warrior, who has been posing a lot of threat to them. And now here we go. Halal Horse in the top lane goes for the dive. We'll find the kill. The tower shot will alleviate the pressure, and then Veigar with the TP picks up the kill. And we're talking about Steel City Warrior just a second ago. This guy's on fire.
Very much so on fire, although he does have the Everfrost in his back pocket, so a little chilly too, a little icy. But definitely more icy than this Lysandra, not really having a great time here. Oh, Best Turtle going for the play. Just taking the wave, it's fine.
That's it, that's the play. That's what I wanted to do at the end of the day.
Yep. And as I was saying though, Steel City Warrior really popping off here on this Veigar. 5-0-2, has the Everfrost working towards most likely a death cap. Oh no, Lucian.
Ooh, there's a big oops from Lucian. Fluxutine, this is the APC, man, we need in the bot lane. OSU Blue doesn't even need to go AP this time around. Fluxutine is doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, it is. Oh, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah, TP play happening here. Heckin Maskov is in around and wants to at least get on the board here with the second kill. And Prowler Cause used here to maneuver his sexual maneuver, but Mookub is here with the ult. He's going to slow you down. He's going to stop you up. He's going to knock you up. But Blue will kill Steel. But he deserved that one because he landed the skill shot. We'll give it to him.
Yep, the skill shot that's really wide and comes from 10 million miles away. They're looking for the dive on the Nami. Halal Horse here on the bot side.
Yeah, he does have the ulti available. So baby Billy Freeman gets knocked up. No longer for the world. And Rift Herald is also taken by Best Lane to make a play happen when the bot side is in shambles. Flash sideways from Rob. Never flash forward because, you know, they're pros. Best Lane here, collapsing on the top lane. Hunt for value might get jumped on, but it's good with a W to get away.
Yep, things are looking all right here. MGM still at that 1k gold deficit, but they're still fine. Again, Veigar, GP, that scaling is really insane. Veigar still hasn't died or given... Oh no, I'm Rob.
Yeah, I'm Rob. Didn't have calling there, so I don't know why he even went for that one.
He didn't see the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, interesting choice. Turns out to be the wrong choice from Rob, and we're looking at a 17-13. But it's a close game, though, Salt, right? MGM, you know, despite being down, they're still making some plays happen. They got the Rift Herald, so maybe translate to some more gold turrets. So we'll see.
Yep. We'll see how things work out here, but this Kai'Sa is online. She has those 2 upgrades available to her right now. Still working on that E evolution to get that invis, so she does need one more item. It can either be, or she needs to wait for either 13 or build some form of attack speed to actually be able to get that little bit of extra move speed and invisibility, which is really nice for these fights, but she really shouldn't be autoing all these much in these fights because of how low range she is. Just looking for this W poke, and she does have the W resets now because she has the W evolve.
You kind of max that out first if you want to do more poke and damage. Mookub now is silent against the Veigar. We talked a little about this Veigar being a big threat. Let's see how they're able to spawn to that. Speaking of that, they find Besser Lane. This is a great counter jungling, and just instantly gets deleted burst by Blue. And that is how to keep track of the enemy jungler.
And they are going to be able to grab this tier 2 mid. They have great damage onto it, but Mookub just doesn't care. He's hitting this tower, and the cannon's so tanky.
Mukub. He's just like, let me just get the third first and I'll deal with you second. Still City Warrior flashes sideways, but does not have a lot of mana to get away. Mukub is still chasing. Event Horizon thrown out. Mukub actually flashes it for the kill and the knock up almost with the Q slows him down. He just need one more auto. The heal comes through and the tidal wave as well. Great peel. Event Horizon thrown up as well. Still City Warrior still lives. Are you kidding me? Mukub can't get the kill. This is devastating to watch. Baby Billy Freeman with the peel, MVP type play right here.
Saving Private Steel City Warrior. They burn so much to save him, but they don't give up the shutdown. The Veigar lives on just a fingernail of HP. Still alive. Little Yordle lives. The Phenomenal Evil is still stacking up. And he also has 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. Don't want to give up those just yet. But that is a death cap finished on the Veigar. He is so strong. Can I get an AP cap real quick, producer? 192 stacks and 649 AP on this Veigar. So he hits like a truck. Now just needs a little bit more M-Pen to actually deal with this Scion. But right now, any Squishy is going to get unbelievably blown up if they get hit by a Q or an ultimate. Just 2 spells. 2 spells will spell doom for any single one of these champs who's not Scion.
He hits like a truck, but he's faster than a Roadster and more sturdier than a Cybertruck. I mean, that play in the top lane alone was clip worthy. I hope somebody did clip that. But, you know, speaking of Mukub, I mean, that's just the ultimate bra moment right there. As soon as Baby Billy Freeman showed up, it was impossible to kill Still City Warrior. With that said, though, you know, what can OSU do after doing that, you know, to make it a little bit better this time around? Split push. All right. Okay, I'll take that answer for now. And here we go. Fight breaks out. That's a clear instant goal to the back line. Nami goes down, bites the dust, as well as the rest are going to now follow shortly. That's a Veigar down. That's a huge shutdown. And guess who picked it up? Blue picks up that shutdown, which was like, I think, around 500 gold bounty. Yeah,
it was pretty huge. And they can turn it right into this Baron. Halal Horse still alive. They have no jungler. It's only the Lucian, only the Gangplank, and no GP ultimate left for even a steal attempt. There's not really much for them to do. They just have to try and farm up while they can, get the gold before those waves are shoved in, and maybe try and make sure that they can't just walk to a wave and maybe take some towers as soon as they get the Baron. So GP's answering that bot side, going to push that one out. Things are looking pretty all right, and the advantage right now is 1,300 due to the Baron power play.
Yep, Baron power play here, and let's see how much gold they're able to stack going lane to lane. We have seen in the past where there has been negative Baron power plays. You know, we don't want to see that right now. OSU, you know, don't make any more mistakes here. You got 400 gold bounty on Kaisa. You got 150 gold bounty on Halal Horse. So they have to make it work with the split push, as you pointed out. Try to ignore the Veigar, or what would be a better alternative now that they have the Baron?
Just let Scion do his thing. Even if he dies trying to take a tower, it's fine. Trade him 1 for 1. This guy does not care. He does not have to care. He should just be hitting this tower, face planting his head into it, and
they might get caught out here. Still Horizon.
Oh,
with the help of Heckin Mask Off, the Souls comes through with the barrels here. Mukub is gonna get collapsed on, and yeah, he was split pushing, but this is what happens when it goes unchecked, when you get spotted, when you get collapsed. But in the meantime, though, the rest of the team, OSU, utilizing this opportunity and securing turrets. Yep, that's a committed 5-man top, so you have to pay a price for that.
And that price is going to be 650 gold going over because of that tier 2 falling. This Baron power play still going in their favor. So they are having a really solid time. Sure, they give up their split pusher, but that's fine. This Scion is okay to die. And unfortunately, he did die right in front of the tower. He was not able to actually get a Demolish proc off. So not an ideal death. If you're playing Inting Scion, you did that last week. Just do the same thing. Just face plant into the tower. That's all you got to do.
That's an honorable death right there.
That is an honorable death. He is building towards the Titanic Hydra. He's going to be doing a lot of damage coming through. And it's scary. It really is scary because last week, OSU were able to close out their series once again because of the Scion. So will they be able to do it this time? That's the question. And, I mean, this Baron buff, it's been doing a decent chunk. They were able to grab one tower. Actually, it's not all that worth. Not all that great, but red buff being picked up here by the GP. Gonna be happy with that. 3 items on that GP as well. Lord Dominic's regard. So this Scion should actually be shredded with the 35% armor pen from the item itself and an additional 40 because of the GP passive on the barrels. He is going to be chilling. He's going to be hurting this Scion, shredding him through. Also has the Prowler's Claw for even more resistance shred.
For MGM also too, they do have the 2 Drakes, so to make it even more efficient for them, they need that 3rd and 4th one. And for Veigar, it's going to be absolutely detrimental, right? He's going to have that healing that he needs from baby Billy Freeman and the movement speed that he gets. On top of everything, it's going to be interesting to see how they play through their strong side, which has been so far, I would say, arguably say, Heket Maskov has been there, but for sure, so far, Steel City Warrior, it has the torch in his hand, is trailblazing his way.
Oh my goodness, the Kaisa. That's AP. It hurts. It does a lot. It's crazy. And that is a Luden's Tempest finished up there. They are going to have to give up this dragon. They don't have the health on their jungler, and there's not really much to trade on the top side either, so they just have to try their best and get some farm up here. But Mukub is there to deny much, because that man is a tank. That man can take towers like a monster. So still a little ways away from making things happen just yet. MGM is still not in the driver's seat, though. They are now 5k down. They are slowly but surely getting further and further behind. But if they can just keep it at this 5k mark, push the game to maybe another 5-10 minutes, that gold percentage drops a lot. But they're going on Mukub.
Oh, this deja vu for Mukub. He just remembered what happened earlier, and same thing happened. He just goes down this time around. He's not in the vicinity of a turret, so he cannot hit it. Same thing. But it will hit the barrels. Be happy with that one. Picks up 10 gold.
They hit the barrels, pick up 10 gold. Hey, not the worst thing in the world. But there's not really much, and there's nothing to capitalize on further side of OSU for giving up their Scion. They can't grab towers. They can't grab anything, because the defense from the Veigar, from the Lucian, is just really, really strong right now. Not too much they can do. Lucian can insta-clear the wave with the culling if he really needs to, and Veigar's wave clear is really, really insane as well. Hitting that level 15, he is in a really solid position.
It looks like down 5k gold is the comfort zone for MGM as they do chase down. The Kaisa is dead. Blue says good night, and that's the big adios. Still City Warrior with the big ulti coming down.
Outplayed. That's what happened. The Kaisa got really outplayed there. Unskilled. Sorry, she could have played that better. My bad. This Veigar, though, just pressed the R button after a spear from, like, mid-range hit, and they might just be able to grab this tower. The root comes through, though.
Oh, guess who's rooted has the flash. It's still City Warrior. The culling is used defensively, but it's not finding the mark. Still City Warrior is dead. And now the rest of the team are trying to run away, but the chase is here. Halal Horse is pretty fast on the reg side. He could see where everybody's walking. Here comes the Scion ult. He's going to connect, though. Flash is used to get away. Halal Horse taking it very low. The knockout. Pick a mask up with the kill. They are kiting right into the death trap there. Best Turtle NA turns it around. Hunt for value. Bites the dust. Huge shutdown. And MGM do make it work. Exceptional maneuvers there on the kite. And they have ascended Steel Warrior City. I'm just botching his name up right now, but Steel City Warrior is pretty much online.
Where is the damage? That's right, on Kaisa, like you just saw. Oh, Turtle, that's a lot. Gotta be careful. Oh,
Best Turtle NA goes golden. OSU Blue are able to 1v2 this. You monster, you beast. But he gets taken very low. Now it's a 1v3. He cannot walk away out of that one, but he finds one kill in return. And the ace comes out, and MGM, I don't know how they're doing it, but they make it work.
1k gold deficit. They brought it back again, but that's 2 Infernal Dragons on the side of OSU, so they are still in a solid spot. If they can get that third and threaten Soul Point, MGM have to contest every single dragon, and that's what MGM have been doing. They've just been giving up the dragons because they can't contest them. They don't really have much to work with apart from the cage. They have no way to force a fight, which is something that OSU always will have. They have the flash W knockup from Halal Horse. They have the Lissandra who can flash ulti or E-flash ulti onto a priority target, but they might look to try and get this Baron right here, right now.
Give me them Baron. Give me them Barons, back-to-back Barons maybe for OSU if they're able to contest and maybe pull off an improbable play, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. 22-23. This game is closer than we'd have thought. And part of it is due to that late scale comp we talked about, the poke and the kite.
It's a 4-item Kaisa.
But it's also great kiting we're seeing from Steel City Warrior with the help of Nami. This is literally why they drafted this comp, and OSU not realizing that walked into them.
Yeah, but remember, if Kaisa falls, their damage is gone. Sure, the Swain is fed, but that's a support Swain, low econ. He only has 2 items. You know, his damage is decent at best right now, so it's not really ideal for the Kaisa to ever get... Oh my word, Billy.
Gotta respect that. Another W right after that one. You know, keeping you on your toes, making you dance a little bit there.
Gotta dance a little bit. Oh, that's a
Ooh.
1453 crit. That is a lot of damage there
like-
from those barrels.
Like
Ooh.
it. That's a picture. That's a picture right there. That we put up.
Heckin' Maskov trying to do something. Oh, looking for the play here.
Again, Mukub. Oh, actually times the ult perfectly there to get away.
He is going to be able to use that to get himself out to safety, but that is the ultimate burn. That is their hard engage from range burned away. They still have the flash engages available, but is that really what you want to be doing here? It's a little rough, but again, they are the ones with prep here. 12 seconds on the dragon. They're trying to find a catch.
Oh, this is the catch they need, OSU, but they got caught out. The steal. Steel City Warrior is really quick with the fingers, quick on dot, and that's a triple clip from Megan Maskov. He's making it work. Back-to-back kills. Mukub goes down. That's the quadra from the gangplank. Heckin Maskov finds the kill. Absolute monster here.
Monster play from the Gangplank, doing so much work this fight, and they're going to send a couple of Bear and a couple of Dragon, and this is just MGM's game now. They've done so much work. They finally scaled up this GP, sitting on 4 items, building towards that 5th. This Vagar has a 7-stack Dark Seal, 3 items in his back pocket. He has the Magic Pen, so he will actually deal damage to this Scion, and I mean, they are looking to engage, but they are walking into a team that wants to disengage. This Vagar cage is just such a big zoning tool. You cannot deal with it if you're that Rek'Sai unless you're willing to burn that flash. And what am I seeing here? Flashes on both Value and Halal Horse. They're not burning these cooldowns. They need to kill the Vagar or the GP, and they're just not doing it.
They're playing... I don't know how to say
use
this, but
these flashes.
they gotta trust their instincts here, and they gotta go all out here. They cannot be like 1 foot out, 1 foot in. They gotta fully commit, is what you're also trying to say here, right? So I agree with you 100%. Hunt Value has a gap closer, has the flash. We haven't seen those all ins, and just recently, Mukub had to burn the ult to get away from the event horizon. So he did not have his ult in that team fight, which they desperately
That was a
needed.
2K crit.
Yeah, we saw that. He was doing that with the minions, now with the champions. Love to see it. Love to see it.
So much. You have Collector. Why? Why?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is the fight they needed. OSU go in. And now the knockup is good. But guess who's getting zoned out? Heckin Maskov is low on HP. The oranges are keeping alive in the meantime. Here comes the Vagar. Double kill is already good for Heckin Maskov. And here comes Fluxetine. Oh, doesn't get the ult off in the right direction. In the right time. And he's instantly dead to the blue now. And the 1v1 Bester Lene going to collapse on him. Are you able to get away here? Bester Lene misses the W. And OSU Blue misses W. Bester Lene goes golden. Baby Billy Freeman is here with the elite. Oh, the W. I hate to see the W like that. But it's going to close out the gap. Going to give him the kills. Bester Lene is cleaning up on aisle 9.
Clean up on aisle 9. They clean up the entire game here, looking to end it right here, right now. They have the Baron buff, inhib down. They can do this real fast. This game is over. And sure, Heckin Maskov didn't end up dying. It's done and dusted, though. Doesn't matter. The sacrifice was worth it. They sacrificed the early game, too. But, oh my god! This
Trademark MGM. They go for more. They go for seconds. They're just playing around right now. They're just having silly goose time. But anyway, that is going to be the first game in the bag for MGM.
That game is over. MGM take it. 1-0 so far. One more game left, and they can guarantee themselves the fight for second right here, right now. But OSU, you know, they did win the early game. They were looking really hot. The Kai'Sa was popping off, doing damage, but I mean, they just weren't able to close it out. Value and Halal Horse just not pulling the trigger. They had their flashes available for so long for some of these dragon fights, for these really important fights, and just were not willing to use those cooldowns.
And it felt a little bit of an end too from, I mean, this is just constructive. From Mint Gaming Mirage in the beginning, right, where Bester Lene was getting caught out there, but nicely done, pat on the back to have good mental there to come back in the game, knowing that, you know, they had late game insurance. Bester Lene was like, let me limit test. It felt like limit testing more so than anything. But yeah, so far so good. Ohio State University devastated with that loss. I mean, they had everything going for them for the majority of that game, and then just, you know, at the last second, couple of bad team fights. Couple that with Hunt for Value not using the flashes. You saw Halal Horse keeping that flash, but you know, we saw the glimpses of that. You know, glimpses of what they could do. So maybe a second game, they'll be back on the horse, show us what they're capable of, and this time around, maybe they'll win, going to the distance. But who knows? Mint Gaming Mirage looking really good. With that said, we're gonna toss it over to a break. We'll be right back after that.
Yeah, I have Salt in the studio with me right now. Yeah, I get it. You guys aren't happy about the comments he made about Aatrox. I get it. Okay, I'll talk to him. No, I'm not gonna hand him over. Well, you guys crazy? What? No,
Uh,
I gotta go. I gotta host this. Okay, sorry. That was the National Aatrox Association. They're not happy about what Salt was saying that he's used to. Well, they're waiting outside. They're not happy. We're gonna have to talk to them later. But that just happened. Scaling diff, dare I say? That was a bit of a scaling diff moment.
Little scaling,
Steel
yeah.
City Warrior. We talked about him before the match, and yeah, he kind of happened on the Vagar. The AP Kai'Sa though, it was looking good, but ultimately, Salt, why didn't it work out?
I mean, the Kai'Sa was their realistically their only damage threat. The Rek'Sai didn't really get fed, so not too much happening there in that respect. And Lissandra also didn't get fed, so not really much of a damage threat either. It was mostly the Scion and the Kai'Sa doing all their damage, and the Scion kept getting caught inside, got CC'd to oblivion, and would fall that way. And the Kai'Sa, I mean, I think she should have itemized a little bit more defensively. We were hearing earlier that Crown would have been probably a better spot, especially against the Vagar. A lot of their damage is done in one rotation, so the Crown negates quite a bit of it.
But you know why it wasn't picked, Salt? You know why Crown wasn't picked?
Why?
Because everybody hates Crown. I mean, I'm not just saying everybody. I'll just start with that. If Crown has a million haters, I'm one of them. If Crown has 5 haters, I'm one of them. If Crown has 1 hater, that one is me.
That's true. Hey, yeah, I follow you right there, man. I'm with you. I got your back on that one, bro. But also, I do want to talk about that Scion, right? Because I feel like, especially towards the end there, I don't know. I want to get your thoughts on the proof. I feel like we kept seeing him running up into the top there. It kind of looked like he was trying to pull off the like Inting Scion, but then he kept falling short to like the barrels and like the 10 million CCs there. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yo, I don't know what to think about that one. It was fun to watch though, for sure. Every time you see Mook up there on the interaction, he was just getting CC'd there. Steel City Warrior actually lived. I think that was just a downward spiral. Like after that play, everything was just out the window for OSU. I didn't even know how like that should be clipped, and I'm gonna really look back on it and see how that actually went down. But overall, OSU had the right idea in mind. I think they just lacked in that execution bit part of the game. So maybe next time around they could make better macro decisions, because time and time again we're seeing that MGM are good in the macro despite losing lanes.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, I don't even get any more time for questions because the draft is going underway. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's find out if my prediction comes true and OSU takes their first game, or if they're about to get shut down tonight. Casters, go ahead. Take it away.
All right, thank you, Echo. And I didn't know that the National Aatrox Association had Echo's number. I mean, that's kind of cool. But with that said, we're gonna see the same kind of bans here. Nidalee is also through the drafting phase. We'll see if Mid Gaming Mirage is gonna be picking that.
There's a missing ban. Okay,
Vagar
missing
is the
ban
missing ban.
Vagar. Thank you for that.
Jinx. We said it at the same time.
True, we did say it at the same time. But that is a kill lane, again, in the bot lane for OSU. It's going to be the Kai'Sa Nautilus. That's been very, very prominent before the whole item rework thing. Kai'Sa Nautilus was really, really powerful. But it is going to be answered by a Xayah. It could be crit, could be lethality. Very interested to see what it is going to be. But once again, GP4 Heckin mask off, and that is B1.
Heckin mask off for the B1. Gonna be happy with this Gangplank again. This is the second time in a row. So, you know, they're warmed up. It's a well-oiled machine, ready to go. This time around, it's gonna be Rakan, and this is the E couple. The E couple right here. Rakan and the Xayah. Gonna be fun to watch.
That is the lovers duo picked up for the bot side there. And, I mean, Xayah does make Rakan a stronger laner, but still Rakan not really the strongest laner ever, especially into a Nautilus. That is realistically a counter in lane to it. Rakan does scale better, yes. Oh, they're going with a Tryndamere for the split push this time.
And they brought out the Trin. They brought out the Trin for the split push. They're like, you know what, Mookub, we want you to split push, but this time around, do it with a champion that you could actually maybe get some good turrets and get away with. You could get over walls. He has slows, and so he could maneuver himself quite well.
Definitely. And I mean, Tryndamere is known for just being one of these annoying champions. You know, he goes the Gale Force, and he does make the game really unhealthy. That's something that I think does need to be addressed by Riot themselves, but they still haven't for some reason. He's been playable for what, 4 months now? Can we fix that, please? That's something they do need to work with. But Poppy also taking off Silas as well. And, I mean, there are a lot of nice ultimates for Silas to take on both sides. The Rakan ulti, pretty nice. GP ultimate, really nice. Nautilus ulti on the other side of things. And Tryndamere, or sorry, GP ultimate, both those ultimates are just really, really solid to grab. Akali, though, take it away from Steel City Warrior. And like you said, we saw him before. I didn't get the pleasure of seeing that. But
No, you didn't. You didn't. You
Akali
almost
can
put
pop
on
off.
a show. The show was so good from Steel City Warrior that it could have been a Vegas show, and you could just show up there and he would play Akali for you, and you're like, okay, I'll pay top dollar to see that. But this time around, it's off table. Ohio State are like, we don't want to mess around with that. And another Volibear pick. I mean, what's going on in the air with the Volibear? I probably should say this one more time. This is we talked about this outside of here, Salt, but I personally prefer the Zac over Volibear, especially. I think it just does way better things the way that you want to do things with the Volibear. Zac is just more efficient in it, and that level 3 gank with the E is much better in my opinion. That's just where I stand.
My theory on the Volibear is he has really solid dueling. He's a lot better of a duelist. Also does more damage, right? And
Yeah.
damage is also quite important. Scales decently well with the whole tank scaly build thingy, but at the same time, Volibear also enables dives right at level 6. Because he can shut down that turret for so long, that's a good at least 3 seconds of turret being turned down, not heating up. Oh my, they're hovering a Shaco.
Ooh.
Wow.
Tell me this is a Shaco game without telling me it's a Shaco game. Caster reacting.
No way, right?
Casters go silent.
There's no,
Oh,
oh my god, they locked it in.
Woo. 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 Somebody call the fire department here. And I don't know how even respond to that pick if you're Ohio State.
Prepare for level 2 ganks. That's what you gotta do.
Okay.
And the thing is, that's what solo queue players don't ever do against a Jarvan or a Shaco. They will, let's shove wave level 2 against a Shaco. It's really smart. You know, not try and build a slow push or anything to try and deal with the Shaco or try and freeze the wave under their tower. There's multiple ways to deal with it, but solo queue, hey, they don't do that. But it is going to be the Victor locked in for a hunt for value in the mid lane, and we'll see. Where is this Malphite going to go? I think the Malphite realistically wants to match this Tryndamere as best as possible, because you know, once he builds Exodia items, you know, Frozen Hearth, Steel Caps, and the tank mythic, it's hard to deal with. Even as like the Tryndamere, it takes a lot to punch through that. And if you do end up going that crack layer to deal with the Malphite, you no longer have that extra gap close that a lot of Tryndameres like to use, the Gale Force, to get on those squishies if you're building purely to deal with the Malphite.
And speaking of the macro, I mean, we're talking about the itemization, but let's take a step back, or you know, look at it down from perspective of macro to see what these teams need to do to be in the driver's seat, right? We talked about that level 6 dive coming out, you know, possibly this level 6 dive from the Volibear. Is that something that Ohio State should tailor towards? They should be looking for that level 4-man dive in the bot lane once Volibear gets that level 6, or should they just let things happen? Because last game, pretty much MGM were the ones making a mistake in the early game. So in Ohio State, we're just only capitalizing on that.
I mean, that was good plays coming from them. This time, I mean, again, MGM scaling. They have a Malphite, they have a GP, they have a Zyricon. So they scale really, really well. But the Shaco, really hard to catch, really slippery, and very easy to be a nuisance and hard to deal with, especially with the bot lane. Very short range. It's Kai'Sa, Nautilus. They have good, decent range engage, but the Kai'Sa herself has to walk up really far to actually CS, to actually deal damage. So having a Shaco annoy that is going to be really, really imperative here. And once again, Blue was popping off here on that Kai'Sa. So, I mean, shutting down that threat and maybe try and dealing with Mukub. So I think the two players that realistically they have to focus on is going to be Blue and Mukub. Because Blue hard won lane last time without much assistance. Like level 2, they did a lot of damage, they got kills like that, and then things happened and things spiraled out of control for the bot lane. At the same time though, Mukub on the Tryndamere, the best time to gank him is pre-6, because he does not have that ultimate, and he was not going to be unkillable for 6 seconds. That's really fun and interactive gameplay there. So I would like to see focus on both the bot and top side, whichever one the Shaco is able to path towards, whichever one looks more efficient, or not efficient, but more juicy to deal with, right? The Kai'Sa actually shoves wave, easier to deal with. The Tryndamere does have more mobility. He has that E, so it's a little bit harder to gank the Tryndamere even pre-6. The Kai'Sa though has to burn that flash if she is to get ganked.
The Feather Storm as well. is something to watch out for on the side of Rob this time around on the Zaya compared to the Lucian.
Mhm.
So I would say, yeah, there's things that Lucian could do that Zaya can't, but I feel like Zaya with the Rakan is going to be really good lane to watch out for MGM because laning phase last time around wasn't all like fireworks and sunshine and rainbow,
Yeah.
right? It was just like very difficult for the bot lane. Rob was struggling there on the Lucian. So this time around, maybe with the help of this Rakan and Bestar Lene, as you said, is slippery. So we might get that Chaco here to go gank, maybe set up for a nice play early on, the level 2 gank that you talked about. So that's certainly something to watch out for, as we haven't seen that in a long time, especially in VTS. This pick
Very true.
hasn't seen the light of the day. So Heket Maskov, we've seen him on the Gangplank. We've seen Malphite's before, Zayas, yes, Rakan's obviously, but this Shaco is something that to savor for this moment. But going off to the mid lane, Victor into the Malphite. What do we think about that? Because you said that Malphite should ideally match Tryndamere, but it just from the looks of it feels like Tryndamere is going to go against Victor.
I mean, they could lane swap it realistically. They could have the Malphite up in the top side instead and have him deal with the Tryndamere. But if it is going to be Malphite and the Victor, that feels really bad for the Malphite. He's not going to be able to do anything in lane. He's going to get shoved in. He's going to get pushed out. And there's not really much he can do. He also doesn't really have that much setup for the Shaco either because he is a Malphite. He has, what, a slow on his
That's
Q?
it.
And that's really about it. So not really much setup. But, I mean, if the Victor does shove the wave, if he goes that E level 2, or he will go that E level 2 and uses it on backline, that's really, really scary for him, especially if the Shaco can just come around, place a little box down behind him and fear him towards the Malphite, then he gets slowed, and then he just gets one-tapped by the two of them. Hail of Blades is very, very strong there on the Shaco. We see a lot of players go in that one.
Yeah, but you also know that the win rate for Volibear versus Shaco is actually Volibear favored. I could be wrong though. I'd love somebody to correct me if I'm wrong, but it is Volibear favored. You know, if they do meet in the jungle, I mean, especially late game, when
Yes.
Volibear is going to be hella tanky. It's going to be hard for Bester Lane to make anything happen. And Halal Horse, I think, is just going to get ahead. No doubt about that.
So I think Shaco has better clear than the Volibear, but Volibear scales better if the Shaco isn't snowballing out of control, and that's something that you always have to worry about when facing a Shaco, right? That snowball effect. He needs to make things happen early, or he doesn't do anything. But if he does make those things happen, he will 1v9 the game just through mind games alone.
Yeah.
So shutting down this Shaco going to be very important, but Shaco could also look for some sneaky invades too. So it's really imperative for Turtle to play this early game well in order to push his team into this late game coming forward, because their damage profile is kind of lacking. It's very AD centric unless the Shaco does go AP, and the Malphite is most likely going tank.
Well, with that said, I guess we'll hold on to that thought. We'll be right back with the second game between MGM versus OSU. Stay tuned. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the second game. As we saw the Steel City Warrior Extraordinaire and the first one. Let's see if he's able to replicate that now that he is playing the Malphite. Good stuff to note here as well, as we are looking at the runes and let's sort this out. Is this going to be Malphite top lane? Is this going to be aggression we're seeing from them?
It is some early game aggression, but I do think it is going to be the Malphite top. You see the grasp in his runes, so that does signal that he is heading towards that top lane to deal with this Tryndamere, helps him scale better, but it is just going to be double invades coming through on both sides. They aren't really going to be able to grab up much other than vision right now. No kills, because everyone is at the other side of the map. But the kill pressure is definitely on the side of OSU. They have Nautilus, they can CC someone up for 10 years, and if the Volley Bear starts that queue as well, doesn't feel as good to start the queue, mind you, but definitely something to worry about here. But we'll see where this matchup does go, because it is either of these laners can just swap. They can figure out where they want to go. So who's gonna stay mid? That's the question here.
Yeah, dropping that ward was also really smart to see if the Volibear is actually going to start topside. Because Halal Horse here definitely wants to start topside as to end up in the bot lane here. And shortly, it's Shaco as well. So both these junglers, they might even contest on Scuttle Crab. And as you pointed out, Tryndamere mid lane.
Tryndamere going to be in that mid lane, taking some decent damage there on both sides. But Gangplank has the corrupting, and Tryndamere does have that little passive coming through. Uh-oh.
Yep. I mean, that's how the trade should pan out anyway. You know, we're not going to expect anything too surprising here. Both laners don't have any ignite, so Mukub necessarily can't all in. Not even level 6 yet. Speaking of all in here, Baby Billy knocks him up. Blue now getting peeled by Fluoxetine. This time around playing the Nautilus, not the same as the Swain, so he's just looking to
level
be
2.
the support, that dredge line to force out the flash from Rob.
Yeah, that's just the power of the level 2, forcing the flash. Very unfortunate that the minions did not die in time. They weren't able to set that up properly, so it is going to force that flash. And that's really important because Xayah is not all that safe anymore because she does not have level 6. So she's going to be in a rough spot for the rest of this lane until she is able to get that flash back. But overall, I mean, it's not the worst thing. At least she didn't die. At least she didn't flash into the hook. Something like that. It's something. And right now, they are just going to be shoved in. Ooh.
The wave state, I don't know about that wave state in the bot lane, but the Nautilus definitely really, really cool. Throw that dredge line and force out on Rob to be flashless for the majority part of the early game at least. So Shaco could possibly get pink to help them out in a little bit. I don't know what they're happening here on the map, but a lot of pinks coming now.
Good mid.
Yeah, Hecate Mask off on the 1v1 on the dredge line. Yet another one, though. To force that Hecate Mask off to flash. Fluoxetine's going to be happy with that one. That's the roaming support.
Yep, and that's just the power of early game Nautilus. He can just walk into lane. If you see him, and he hooks in your general direction, because of how big the hitbox is, you're going to have the flash. It feels really, really unfun. But, I mean, they were able to get that lane pressure down the bot side, and that's just good plays from Blue. But look at the roam around.
Yeah, now here comes the Nautilus. Dredge line available. Exhaust comes through here. Rob is not looking that healthy to live. We'll go down first blood. Secure dredge line as well. Baby Billy gets pulled back. Intrinsically has down the flash to get away. It's a 1-0 start, and OSU hit the ground running.
And they do punish the flashless Xayah, so that's really good for value.
On for value on a 1v2. Throws out the flash to stay safe. Best to the Lene. Good play on him.
Good plays there. Does force out that flash on the Victor, which is really important. Getting that summoner, definitely something you want to be doing here. And you can punish this again once the Malphite hits 6, which will be very, very soon. It's very diveable. He has no way to dodge it. So that's what I want to see from the Shaco coming forward. He is invading, getting those chickens, getting those little raptors there, invading a little bit, getting some extra CS because, you know, he's a little behind because he was not able to get any KP, unlike the Volley Bear, who did get the kill in the bot lane.
Yeah, it's going to be the battle of the jungles here, but nice play from Besser Lene, regardless whether or not he's ahead or behind, at least taxing Hunt for values. Flash in the top lane. Speaking of that, Mukub goes in, Hecate Mask off. He's trying to just run away here, has the barrel, but Mukub just turns back around on him. He has to pop the ghost, and Hecate Mask off is in range for the kill, but doesn't have the cooldowns necessary to close out that one, but Interesting play from Muka. Again, best turtle NA camping here in the top lane. Hunt for value does not have flash, so he's just gonna go down. Best turtle NA, smart plays back to back. Finally secures the kill, but in the meantime, Halal Horrors does find a Mountain Drake in the bot side.
Mountain Drake gonna feel a little nice getting a couple more resistances for both of these solo laners. Feels really good. Oh my word, the damage from Heck and Maskov having a really solid time here, but that is the level 6 hit up here for that Tryndamere, so he can realistically dive this? Maybe. Oh, wow. Heck and Maskov, though, little tanky, so not... it could be diveable. He needs to hit the 6, though.
Yeah, Halal Horse doesn't have the 6, but he gets the E, gets the Q off as well. The stun is good. Cannon Barrage comes in. Muka over the wall, goes. Safety! No more of that. Steel City Warrior goes in with the Unstoppable Force, does find a double by knocking one up and just finishing off the next. Baby Billy Freeman here, just doing the support dance with the Nautilus.
And the Malphite gets the double kill, and that's really bad for the Tryndamere, because most likely it is going to be this Malphite matching him in the split. So that's going to feel really, really bad for him. But the bot lane do manage to grab up that scuttle, just being a nuisance for Best Turtle NA to deal with. And that's all off of good plays early in the lane. But they found a double knockup. Can they capitalize?
Good double knockup from Baby Billy Freeman. But let's see how long they last in this team fight. This trade does not really favor them that much. They just get a couple of potions from Blue. So far, I guess they'll be happy with that one. Baby Billy Freeman, like we talked about Rakan all the time, he has to... He kind of shines at the later stages of the game, right? When there's team fights, not so much in the laning phase.
Because he has to get in your face to land a CC, which is something Nautilus doesn't really have to do. He can engage from pretty far away, pull you to him, and make it better for you. But Mukub has the ultimate. So this is not ideal for him. Turtle looking for the play.
Yeah, Mokub does not have any summers available here, but he is close to his turret, so this shouldn't result in a kill. Best Turtle NA still just looking for some pressure to help Heck at Mask up.
Crit. That's crazy. 20% crit, playing the crit roll game for Heck and Maskov was actually able, that's another crit.
Another
Both
one.
of those Qs critting at 20% crit. Not even, that's 15% crit, because that's only a crit cloak. Oh, yeah, that's just really bad RNG for Mukub. I mean, Tryndamere is a game of RNG. You walk in level 1 with 35% crit and hope to crit the guy out. It's usually what happens.
A bit of luck involved here. But, you know, you could see the macro play from both sides. They are trying to hold on to something here. OSU, they're rotating the Nautilus here to make plays happen. And for Volibear, he's just camping. He got that level 6 pretty soon. I mean, I think he's gonna hit it. He's gonna hit it right now. And then maybe they could go and get the kill on Steel City Warrior, because Steel City Warrior doesn't have the flash up.
No flash on the Malphite, but it's still hard. He is still tanky. He also has the Unstoppable Force, so even if he does try and gank the Malphite, he has a way out. So even if he is flashless, but burning that cooldown defensively is definitely ideal.
And yeah, things are actually slower pace. Speaking of that, let's see some Shaco action here, level 6.
Has the direst treatment there in the mid lane. We see the Malphite already hovering in the wings too. This guy's not allowed to have any fun, I guess. But, I mean, it's just rotations coming through, right? The Nautilus is moving all over the map, but at the same time, so is Steel City Warrior. And Turtle is looking for something here. Gets the fear.
Here we go. Yeah, at least... slap on the wrist for Shaco. In the meantime, Best Turtle NA hasn't found a successful gank after the topside play here. And, you know, we'll see maybe this 3-1 scoreline for MGM turn into a bigger snowball lead. But speaking of that, Best Turtle NA here goes on the 1v2. Steel City Warrior pops the ulti on for value, trying to run away, flashes burn under the turret. Steel City Warrior with the Q, the damage comes in, and that's the kill. Nicely done. And MGM are off to a great start with 4-1 scoreline. They're looking to be in the lead. I get Mask off on the trades. I don't think any solo kill potential is going to happen here for Mukub, at least, as he needs to be careful walking up to Heka Mask off.
He is getting poked out quite a bit here by this GP, so but they're going to be spotted out by this ward. But that does mean that Rob and Baby Billy got to back off here. They could look for a dive on both the GP and the bot lane here if they can get their waves in good positions. Unfortunately, not going to really look for that, but the Dragon up in 20 seconds, so getting some nice deep vision will help out quite a bit. Mukub trying to do something mid lane, just trying to chunk a little bit. Can he do it? Ooh.
Yeah, the trades are always just kind of interesting to see in the mid lane.
They're
Now
going for the
Horse
dive.
goes for the dive, forces the flash from Hegamaskov. So,
That's just
I guess
a good
worth.
look.
Yeah.
Good look.
They almost got it, though. They almost got it. Halal Horse could pull it off a second time around. Bester Lene is in the vicinity here against Halal Horse. Halal Horse does find the stun, but Bester Lene might get the bamboozle off here. He's under a lot of attack. The chase will pursue. Nope. I think they just call it off. They just call it off because the rotations are coming through. Bot lane is missing from MGM. So OSU are like, we don't want to overcommit right now. Mokup respecting that possibility that Rakan and Xayah could be anywhere around here. They're just going to be happy with getting this inner track and the prio on the second Drake. So 2 for 2 so far.
And that's just good setup. They got the wards down. They knew where the Shaco was going to be in the general vicinity. So just good setup. That's why they're able to grab this Drake. And their bot lane is also winning. So they're in a really solid spot here coming forward. The Kaiser Scales well already has a Muramana building towards the next item already. Doesn't have the serrated Dirk, so not buying that one this time. I guess is willing to just sit back and scale a little bit because she knows that the Xayah takes her time as well, so she doesn't really need to be online as early.
The timing just really working out for OSU, right? Like they have good bot lane prio. Speaking of a timing, the Hunt for Value did not realize, or he has no idea that Rakan and Bester Lene are here. Khan does have the quickness available. Altis are pretty much up. And Rob is just waiting to push this wave in. Hunt for a value. Now he is going to see them on the other side. Throws out the stun. Throws out the Chaos Storm. But he just gets burst down there. Xayah will pick up the kill. Rob, the first one in the game.
Also is getting a bunch of plates. She got one solo plate to herself. Now is going to split this one with the Rakan, potentially. But in the mid lane, though, good setup there. They are going to push this one down. And, oh, wow, the Gangplank just instantly clears these waves now. But they are getting a lot of value here because the bot lane is rotated mid, and GP just insta-clears waves. They can't really get any tower damage in retaliation. So, great looks coming through for the side of MGM. They're getting their Xayah fed. Rift Herald does go over to the side of OSU because there's not really much they can do. The Shaco's was down in the bot side when that was being taken. And, I mean, the Malphite can't really shove into the Tryndamere just yet. He doesn't have Exodia.
This is the first Rift Herald, so it could be put to good use here. Luxatine does pull back Bester to Lene, and that's Unstoppable Force coming in. Coming in hot, that's Nautilus dead. Flash is now used. Mukub trying to get away. He is feared, however. Gonna be counting his lucky stars.
Yep, count his lucky stars, and they were looking for a play, they were looking for something, but they just aren't able to find it, and Xayah just gets that first tower all to herself, 610 gold in her back pocket, and some nice global gold for her teammates too. It's just a play that didn't pay off, and MGM 6-1, they have a really solid gold lead going for themselves, 4k at 13 minutes. This is just going in their favor, but they can never forget about the Tryndamere factor. That champion will always be a threat, no matter how far behind he is, because he will still one-shot your 80 carry.
If he has the flash, it's still available too. So that's the Tryndamere dilemma. He just goes right in and sticks on you like American glue. So if he does have the flash up, you got to really play around that one. Hagen mask off the 1v1. And that's the dredge line. This time it actually does connect. And Halal Horse in the back line. The Rakan with the knockup appeal is good so far. Hagen mask is living phenomenally right now in the turret with the help of Baby Billy. So, good idea there by the Nautilus, and the execution kind of falters.
Oh, they're not committing.
Oh, here we go to Quickness. Goes in on the return. This is the engage they needed, the engage they wanted. And Steel City Warrior will pick up one back to back. That's the double in the mid lane. Nice find. In the meantime, Rob forces out the ulti here. Halal Horse gets rooted and instead has to flash away because he saw Bester Lene. Oh, the root. Oh, there it is. Bester Lene finds one. Halal Horse has to get away. To eat on himself.
Tryndamere Juice got ulti.
Gets that shield, but Steel City Warriors, it's going to be a 3v1 dive. Guts down Unstoppable Force right in time. Right on the cooldown, and there it is. 10-1 MGM blowout right now.
That's Thanos right there. The Malphite having a really, really great time. 7-0-1. Not even behind in the CS department as well. This Malphite is kind of smurfing a little bit. Also building that. Probably Ronduin's Omen coming through. Gonna need that. I mean, the Tryndamere will pop you like a balloon. But having a little bit of extra health there, a little bit extra armor, and crit resist feels really, really good. And as Victor, not having the greatest time against the Malphite, but having a decent time against Tech and Maskov on the GP.
Heck, Maskov is just having a wonderful time here. Brilliant positioning from him. He's been able to stay alive despite getting a lot of action in the mid lane a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. And it is the AP Shaco has that Everfrost available now too, so that is their AP. Does a decent chunk too. The boxes will always be annoying, they will always hurt, and that is going to be an investment of red wards to clear their own jungle, because if boxes are placed in the enemy jungle, that's going to feel really bad. Best Turtle just gets Scryer's bloomed and then just does the worm, just how Shaco does, and there is a little box there going to be taken out by the Kaisa. He just throws little daggers too. Standing on the box, the Nautilus knows he can't engage on it either. Although objective bounty claim to the top side, they do have to give that one up because it was relatively low, but that does mean mid prio is going to be gained by the side of MGM.
At some point in this game, goal is not going to matter, right? Because OSU do have the Tryndamere here, but that point needs to be reached pretty soon. Now, the fact that no priority is available for OSU to take this Drake, which would have put them at a soul point. Now they're losing momentum. They're losing objectives on the map, and they have to come up with answers pretty quick.
Definitely. Oh, Billy not able to steal it away, but Infernal Drake going to be claimed up by the Shaco. So they're having a pretty solid time. They are definitely in the driver's seat. They have the gold advantage coming through. Just over 5k. Oh, Fluxatine taking a decent chunk of damage from the Xayah. She does hurt a little bit now. Still working on that Manamune, which will evolve very shortly. She is almost there. But the Kaisa is finished that one item, working towards her second as well. But the Xayah's a lot stronger as of now. She got a whole tower to herself, as well as, you know, a couple of kills and assists. She's chilling.
The battle of who gets to finish their items first in this segment. We're seeing 10 to 10, 10 to 1 actually kills. So the only one with a kill is Halal Horse. So, you know, this Volibear
Oh yeah, it's 10 to
got
1.
that first blood. Yeah, that's it.
rough.
So they need a lot of shutdowns on the other side. OSU, however, should be lucky, or should feel lucky, because guess what? 700 gold bounty on Steel City Warrior and 150
Can't they kill
on
him, though?
Best Turtle. Yeah, I don't know if they can. Like we pointed out, you know, Malphite is going to have the flash pretty soon and has Unstoppable Force to get away.
He's going to have to use the Blast Gun to get away, but that Malphite is so hard to kill. He's so tanky, and GP is in a decent spot to actually clear up these waves, but the Tryndamere now has the Gale Force, so the gap closer is there. The double gap closer, should I say, is there. So always something to worry about here. But we do see the vision line in favor of MGM. They're pushing into the enemy jungle, and Best Turtle has a flank, looking for blue.
There it is. Flashes in, forces out Featherstorm from the Xayah. Now this is looking like a good angle, but knockup is absolutely phenomenal here from Rakan. And now Umrab with a double kill. This is a great setup for MGM. They're cleaning up, a clean sweep, and they don't lose any players in that play.
No, they don't lose anything, and the Tryndamere just can only watch. Sure, he might be able to trade 1-for-1, but he's going to lose some towers even with that ultimate, so he just has to watch as the world crumbles around, and that's all because of the flank they're going on Tryndamere.
They want more. They're not settled. They want more, and this time around, Tryndamere is going to spin out of fight, spin out of action. Best Turtle NA finds one. Nicely done. Under a turret there. That's a dead Victor. 32-second timer on him. This could beat Inhibitor turret as well, but Fluxatine is here with the help of the Kaisa. Maybe they're able to clean up the wave here, clear the wave. But, you know, Best Turtle already did the damage here. They got the kill onto the Victor. They got more prio. They got more pressure on the map, and it's boiling at a high point.
And Turtle also had no mana at that point, gets caught out by the hook.
This is what they exactly needed. Best Turtle NA. The Shaco is alive and well. 3-0-8 scoreline for him. Maybe he's going to get slowed down here. Smite comes through. Halal Horse now. They're going to respect seeing Steel City Warrior here helping out his ally. And Dredgeline used defensive to get away with Fluxatine. Going to find that that was the clone, not the real one. Steel City Warrior had the Unstoppable Force used earlier in the early fight, so he didn't have it to engage. So a bit of a head scratch. Maybe, again, counting the lucky stars if you are OSU. Well, speaking of that, Chem Tank use full speed, fully Sonic going in, and that's the killer. Instincts goes full out. Rob finds the kill. Are you kidding me? The ult will seal the deal. Halal Horse finds the 3rd kill, and that's the 3rd kill in the entirety of OSU.
All of
their
them are on
scoreline.
the volley bear. And unfortunately, that's just not where the gold needs to be. It needs to be on this Kaisa. It needs to be on this Victor. It needs to be on this Tryndamere. But the big bear in the jungle, he may be the king of the jungle. But even the Shaco's doing better than him either. If we take a look at the player gold count, I'm Rob, 9.4k, having a really, really great showing here after the not-so-great performance game 1. Heck and Maskov also performing really, really well. Going deathless. I mean, 3 people on the side of MGM are 4 people are deathless. Only the Zaya's been the one that dies with the most defensive ulti, so that's kind of ironic. But, I mean, it's mostly just good plays. They have great vision set up. And the dragon's spawning up in 44 seconds. Look at that river bot side. There's just so many wards placed, a lot of control wards too. So it's really hard for the other side to walk through. This Kaisa still also does not have the... wait, she might actually have the upgrade. But Mookup going in.
Oh, this is his opportunity, the golden opportunity for Mookup to make a play happen here. On Marab goes Featherstorm. Get away.
Outplayed.
There it is. Oh, Mookup, as we say, we're almost going to curse it. And Best Turtle is here to pick up the kill and get spotted. Tryndamere goes back to the fountain. Feels bad. 1-3 scoreline. At least he got a kill though this time around.
Yeah, something. And yeah, the Zaya, she got outplayed. There's nothing she could have done. Or she definitely could have done more there. It's not like the Tryndamere can go invincible for 6 seconds under her tower and has 2 gap closers. Outplayed. But that does mean because the Shaco was topside, they can try and grab this dragon here. It's alive, and I cannot see the HP.
Well, look, Sitain, what are you doing there? You're gonna get caught up. The Drake is under a lot of fire right now. Wall's thrown down. Cannon Barrage comes through. People going gold, and that's a double for Heket Maskov. What an extraordinary feat for MGM to close that one out. And the steal. Yeah, nicely done. Infernal Drake secured.
Even though they were late for the party, they just don't have the damage. OSU cannot finish the dragon in time because everyone's just not fed. So the dragon just does not disappear in time. Best Turtle's able to get in there and clown around, grab up that dragon right underneath their noses. A little sneaky action going in there. And they are going to grab up this Baron as well. Get a Baron power play going for themselves too. So MGM really, really solid now in the lead. 11k up, 20 kills to 4. They are in a rough spot. Unfortunately, it's not the other way around, 420. Haha, funny. It is going to be 20-4. So they're in a really, really good spot for themselves. The gold graph is just going up and up and up and up and up for MGM. They are going to be able to grab some towers, and the TP denies the Tryndamere from taking this tower. And look at Steel City Warrior. He takes 0 damage. He does not care. This Tryndamere will have to bring the ulti.
Mookup, where is your getaway plan when you need one here? The Blast Cone should be it. Should be good enough. Steel City Warrior, you know, he didn't want to invest more resources to that. He did have the flash up, Subble Force shortly after that. He's going to let Mookup live this time around.
Yep, gonna let the Mookup live just a little bit longer, but, I mean, things not looking
very
so hot.
Very one-sided itself. Yeah, very one-sided. We're looking at, it feels like 2 different games, 2 different teams. I mean, last game, OSU looked a lot better than this time around. I don't know what hasn't been working for them. You know, the Volley Bear has all the kills in the team. And 05 for Hunt for Value, you know, hasn't been able to perform the Victor, been very silent. As well as the Kaisa here, you know, went on the 2v1. I mean, had another player with her and couldn't even get the kill onto the Zaya. You know, that feels bad. That's kind of devastating head to the blow to the head.
That's a little bit rough, but she is getting to her power point. Nothing really happens. Malphite doesn't care. He's just too tanky. And this Baron power play working out. Oh my, Fluxatine taking so much damage from the GP.
That's the crit.
Insane.
That's the full crit coming on. That's the Dredge Line opening things up maybe here. Batting down the hatches. Here comes the Volley Bear with the ulti and Stubble Force. The great answer to lead the HP bars on the other side. And you can see OSU are dropping like flies. But Tryndamere is pushing in the meantime. Rob going to be taken very low there as well. Huge shutdowns coming through this time around. OSU are in the driver's seat. Best Turtle NA maybe for the play. And now the knockout. Oh, Halal Horse turns the tide of the fight and goes flashing in for the kill. Nicely done. But OSU this time around get ahead. Yeah, Mookup was just split pushing this entire time. A great hold. Extraordinary feed by OSU. Turn this fight around and find a couple of plays, at least an inhibitor to ride home about.
GP flashed into his team with the death charge going off, so he just knocked up every single one of his team members there, and that just allowed for the damage to come through. This Victor to actually do something. Sure, he didn't get any assists because the kills took too long to come through, but it was a lot of his damage coming through, and the Kaiser just able to rain forward power with the Void Seeker. So she was able to pop off, and Tryndamere goes split pushes top, grabs that inhib while that all is going on, because even after they were able to, they could have walked out. After getting the depth charge, they did get committed on, but they could have given up a couple players and maybe looked for an escape route. But they did decide to commit. Shaco went forward, Xayah went forward, and they dove. But look at the fight topside.
Mukub is in trouble right now. Headed for the rocks at this point. Nowhere out of that one. Maybe he could find a kill, but not today.
Yep, not today. And Baron buff not up for the next little bit, 2 minutes. But it is going to be that Infernal Drake up in a minute. So we do see Vision set up by the side of OSU. They are trying to get some ports down. They do have some in the pit, but no deep jungle ward, so they won't know where they're coming from. But they could really give up soul points so they can push and grab another inhib potentially. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. 45 seconds on the clock, 650 gold.
Looks like they're moving around the map pretty well here now. Pretty efficient about the pathing they have. They're focused on the topside inhibitor turret as they are going to secure it. Winions are there for OSU. Maybe they're able to put up a fight. Huge amount of damage coming through. You might want to patch that up if you're Shaco right now. And another W for the kill. Rob gets instantly deleted there.
That is AP Kaisa. That is a lot of damage. And Shaco has a lot of books, so some fiendish codexes there in his inventory. I don't know what he's going to build them all into. He likes reading. There's the Zonias. What's next? The Banshee's Veil? And then what? Cosmic Drive?
Yeah.
Could be.
What's
look
next?
At the dragon.
Yep, looking at the dragon. Hot commodity on the map right now. Both teams really do want to secure it as they're going to put them at a soul point. Steel City Warrior in the front line taking a lot of that damage. Cannon Barrage comes through. Flexitan with the dredge line does find the target. The target is rooted up and knocked up. And here comes the fight. Beautiful setup there. Steel City Warrior now outnumbered. But here comes the quickness. Rakan setting up the play. Defensive ulti by the Volibear. The stun is chilling right now. Halal Horse, hello. He's losing his pace. They're running circles around him. The Volibear can't get the kill. It gets the stun eventually, and the Rakan is very quick on the feet. Quick as a bunny. Gets out of the vicinity of the bear. Tryndamere is top. Split pushing against Rob. Halal Horse, all he has to do is just interrupt the recalls. He just needs to slow down. And now Mukub goes into the 1v1. Rob throws out the Feather Storm. Goes golden. Oh! That's the outplay. OSU Mukub back to the fountain. He did not find what he was looking for.
Can't even get the kill, can't even get the tower. So all of that, they do get the dragon, yes, but they give up a lot, and they also give up so much in their base too. Things are not going well, but I mean, there's still a chance. They're still in it to win it. The Tryndamere just needs to try and find his way into the base without a contest. So if the Xayah was there at that fight, the game is over. There's no way they can stop the Tryndamere in time. But because the Xayah decided to base, that was the perfect time for it. And they are on Infernal Soul Point. They are a little bit scared. They have to be worried about that. But Purple Worm spawning up here, and there shouldn't really be a contest. Volibear's on the bot side, and there's just so much damage on the side of MGM, they should just be able to insta-take this one down.
It's the second Baron, mind you, for MGM if they do successfully take this one down. But Halal Horse, maybe he'll go for the smite 50-50, but like you said, there's too much damage. I don't think he even get there on time. I mean, he's trying to run, but really not at that pace to contest. That's the second Baron for MGM. Let's see if they are able to open up more of that base.
And that's really the play. The only way they need to do is try and maybe get the bot lane, but they could just try and escort this wave because there is no wave clear on the side of OSU. Sure, there's the Victor, but he's 1 in 6. He has 1 damage item and 1 defensive item, so he really isn't hurting all that much. And the Kaisa is also going AP, which means her wave clear isn't really all that strong either, because most of her damage is coming from her W. Her Q hurts a little bit, but it's just not really enough, especially when there's supers and Baron buff minions coming through.
Slow and steady wins the race here. No mistakes for MGM, but that's a great engage. Phenomenal fight for MGM. A great angle for them, and the ults are going to come through there, and everybody on the side of OSU dropping like flies at this point. An extraordinary feat there by MGM to pull off the trigger in the right time, and there's not much you could do. Mukub, the last one to spawn here in this base. He can't put up a fight. the face of a 1v5, so a 1v4 rather. That's the double from Rob, looking sensational in this game. This is MGM going for yet another clean sweep, yet another 2-0, and they're looking unstoppable.
They are looking really strong. This game looked a lot better than last one. They were in the driver's seat here for the entirety of the game, and they kept the pressure. Oh, wow.
Base the lead. Hello. One button to lead everybody here. Whoever walks up can catch it. Rob, find the last one. He's on a rampage, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. 2-0 MGM.
MGM take it home. They win the series 2-0. And with this crazy draft coming through, I mean, I guess they're the ones to pull it off. They pulled off Lee Sin support. Hey, they can pull off Shaco Jungle. That's less out there than Lee Sin support. So MGM going to be the victors today, and they also guarantee themselves the fight for second if VGA do win their series tonight. So it is going to be a fight there for that second spot. And OSU, unfortunately, they do now go drop down to 4-4. So their playoffs run is still not guaranteed until next week's series is determined.
That was a fun game to watch, so that was one heck of a fun game to watch. I mean, at least Blue got that highlight where he just insta-deleted Rob with 1 W. Good, a bit of a stroke on the ego there.
That's
Nicely
so
done.
much damage.
The kind of stuff, but we're gonna throw it back to Echo here on the analyst desk, and let's talk a little bit about it.
Well, that happened. That happened. That's like the main thing I gotta say. That definitely happened. Unfortunate to see that OSU's fate no longer in their hands. Really, they with this L, they're gonna have to pray to the VTS gods that I believe Dragon Claw ends up coming out victorious against Clover, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's the other way around. Clover has to win. Clover has to win for them to guarantee their spot.
Okay, well, hey, you never know. Crazy turn of events. Clover, maybe they take their first L with that, so we'll have to wait and see. But like, it's not the best feeling when it's not in your hands. But overall, I was wrong. Proof is right again. God, man, I'm just at this point. I'm gonna just start piggybacking off of Proof at this point, bro. It's ridiculous, man. Overall, yeah, MGM 2-0. But so was there ever really a point where it was like things were looking good here for OSU? Because I feel like this time around, this game felt a lot more dominant from MGM in comparison to the first game.
It was just them being in control for the most part. OSU, they lost the bot lane. That was the key they needed to win the game. And unfortunately, they just weren't able to pull through this time. They popped off game number 1, but game number 2 just didn't look nearly as clean. So they didn't really have a way to play through. The Victor was constantly getting punished for being flashless, and Heckin Maskov was playing these ganks off really, really well. Didn't have the flash for a lot of the lane, but still was able to avoid death. Sure, had to base, take a couple bad timers, but I mean, you're not giving up that much gold. You're giving up a little bit of XP, but it's better than giving up kills to your enemy laner, especially a Trindiver who needs to snowball. Because he had, like, there's a lot of peel. There's a Malphite that he has to deal with. There's a Rakan who has really good peel. And Xayah also has some self-peel for herself, too. So it's really hard to actually play the Tryndamere out unless, you go the Hullbreaker build and try and damage, or take resistances and damage your way through that way. So, I mean, that's the only way they had to play through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, overall, it sucks to see that the Tryndamere's full potential wasn't quite able to shine this time around, especially once again. I mean, we keep mentioning Steel City Warrior, but I mean, this time around as well, I believe piloting the Malphite, he was just sending it. Probably I hear Proof already. He's like, yep. Proof going like, yep.
Yeah, no, it was super fun to see Steel City Warrior back for another one on the stream on the highlight. And I haven't seen him in quite some time now, and honestly, it's very refreshing to see that he's able to play other champions as efficiently as the Akali, and his champion pool is really, really deep. So that should be really worrisome for the other teams that are in the group. But besides that, I was really, really excited for both teams. OSU Blue and the bot lane really showed some great potential here. The whole team, really, for Ohio State University, you could see that they have what it takes. They have really good talent on that side. It's just in the face of MGM, they were just really measured up, and they came up short here for today. Maybe another occasion, maybe another time, they'll be able to pull it back, but I have full confidence in them if they end up going to the playoffs, that they're going to adjust and adapt, which is, I think, a huge thing for teams to do. For MGM, all they have to do is just keep performing and keep showing up.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get plenty of times as we'll see OSU. But that being said, let's get some thoughts. MVPs. What are we thinking?
I'm gonna give it to Heckin Maskov. I think played phenomenally game number 1. Just great damage, just being the nuisance the entire time, just one-shotting everyone from miles away, right? And in game number 2, constantly ganked over and over again, and still absorbing that pressure, still living. And I think did they go deathless? I'm not sure if they went completely deathless, but maybe 1 death. I think 1 death, but that's fine.
Yeah, I think.
Or
yeah.
2. Yeah, that's fine.
They're
I mean,
playing pretty safe for gambling in the mid lane as well. There was a lot of action there. Nautilus was there mostly. Nautilus was more in the mid lane than in the bot lane, which goes to say a lot.
That's fair. That's fair.
For me, my MVP is gonna be tricky. To be honest, like I'm hyping Steel City Warrior up a lot, but I do think he put a lot of great plays especially in the first game on the Veigar. So my MVP without a doubt goes to him in the mid lane because it's hard to make anything happen as a Veigar, especially in the mid lane. And the other team has like a Rek'Sai and a Lissandra. They're able to close up the gap quite easily. So a pat on the back for him. And I always love seeing Steel City Warrior show up and play.
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta second you there as well. As much as I also want to give it to Heckin Maskov, I gotta say it was very nice to see Steel City Warrior, especially on that first game, right? With that Vigard when things weren't looking so good at the start, right? And they were like, listen, man, that scaling potential, you gotta make something happen, bro. Please, bro. We can't be taking it, please. And he's like, I got you, baby. Don't even worry about it. And then next thing you know, boom, he's just dishing out damage. And he was just running, the show, really. So I'm gonna give it to him. But overall, yeah, the popular vote was Heckin Maskov, so he will be receiving that. Mint Game Mirage is top.
There it is.
Have 19, 7, and 22.
Something seems a little off there in the corner, but
Yeah.
Double agent. What is this?
He's a double agent.
Double agent, but 19 kills, 7
there
deaths,
we go.
22 assists. Hey, that's a really solid KDA, especially from the Dyrus treatment he got there in the mid lane. You take those. Those. And damage numbers were insane too.
Yeah, you take those for sure. And hats up to them. Beanies off to him, dare I say. That being said, and also a very stellar performance coming out from MGM once again, as we expect. And with that being said, that is the last match for tonight. So thank you guys so much. Proof, Salt, thank you guys so much for being here tonight, joining me once again.
Pleasure.
And an amazing cast
Always.
per usual. And with that being said, thank you so much for joining, and we hope to see you guys next week.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.
Do we fight to hold our heads up high and beat the drums to what we love? Risk the fall, or we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkest skies, the champions of a world that we defy. to fall.